Starting with the flamethrower. Here we go. Not wasting any time this time. 1 second, 48, almost 2 seconds. Medium, just over 3 seconds. Going to the heavy with the flamethrower. We are coming in at over 4 seconds. Pretty bad, to be honest with you. But you can sweep a room and light a lot of people up with this thing. Going to the KS-23 on the light. Coming in at under a second with 2 shells. Going to the medium. Almost 2 seconds. Just under. The heavy, about 2.5 seconds. It's actually not too bad of a weapon. Travel time kind of sucks, but moving on to the Lewis. Looks like chest shots on the light are just under a second. Headshots on the light, about the same. And then going for optimal range here, I believe it's under 38 meters. Yeah, so that's should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. So the last one was 6, so under 37 meters would be good. Medium, about 1.5 seconds on chest shots. And then headshots, we are, I think, yeah, just under a second. Moving on to the heavy, chest shots. Lewis gun coming in at just under 2 seconds. Not a bad TTK for an MG. Going to headshots on the heavy. And just over a second. Not bad at all. Pretty decent pick. Probably one of my favorite weapons for heavy. Moving on to the M60. Another great pick. It's a great weapon. Great TTK. Under a second for the light. Doesn't really make a difference if it's headshots or not. But obviously it's a little bit faster on headshot. Going for optimal range here. 26 at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So need a 7th shot there. So under 27 is optimal. Chest shots on the medium, about 1.5 seconds. Headshots on the medium, under a second. Going to the heavy on chest shots again with the M60. Just under 2 seconds. Going for headshots on the heavy. About 1.5 seconds, almost 1.5 seconds. And here's your breakdown. Again, a really good pick for heavy. Moving on to the MGL. So this one's a little tricky. I'm trying to get the best, fastest TTK here on the most optimal range. So 1.5 seconds for a light. Just about 3 seconds for a medium. And we're coming in at 5 shells for over 3.5 seconds. Not the best TTK, but it does a lot of damage to a lot of people. And then obviously the SA-12 is the fastest TTK at under 0.5 seconds. And I'm just checking the range here to see where it's going to cause me to take a 3rd shot on the light, and it looks like 6 meters is it. So you want to engage at under 6 meters. Obviously, it can do damage past that. Just about 1 second to kill the medium, and then if you throw a melee in there, it's about the same. Throwing the melee in there for the medium doesn't really matter. About 2.5 seconds for the heavy, and here's your breakdown. Moving on to the Sledgehammer with the primary attack and a melee directly after is under 1 second for the light class. And then primary attack is about 1.5 seconds. And the special, or the secondary, is just under 1 second, about 1 second. So the 2 primaries plus a melee, about almost 2 seconds for the medium class, and then the secondary plus melee. And then the primary. And then we have heavy here. This is just your raw primary time to kill, over 3 seconds. And then we have your 3 primaries plus a melee at about 2.5 seconds, so a little bit faster. And then in the double smash is what I'm calling it, 2.5 seconds. Here's your breakdown. Moving on to the spear. 2 seconds for the light on the primary attack, and then the secondary. It's a little bit faster. but you got to be right on them, or they got to be right in front of you. So primary, 2.5 seconds on the medium, and then the secondary, just about the same. But again, they got to not be moving, so you can kind of follow them with the primary attack. Secondary's not very good in my opinion, unless you're playing power shift. So 3 seconds for the heavy on the primary, and your breakdown. Up next is the Kimbo, the Deagles. Light chest shots, just under a second. Headshots, under half a second. And optimal range is 2 shots on the head. Got to be under 42 meters, so we'll go down to 2 shots here right after I get to 41 meters. All right, moving on to medium here. Chest shots with the Deagles, about 1.5 seconds. And then the headshot, very close to a half a second, but just under a second, let's call it that. And heavy chest shots, so this is about 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds. Headshots on the heavy, about a second, pretty good. These weapons are probably one of the best picks for heavy at the moment. Anything you need, let me know.